Big Dental Energy, Episode 2, Sedation, Scalability, and Secrets. They won't teach you in CE. Because you didn't go to dental school to be average.
Back to Big Dental Energy, everyone. This is Episode 2, and we're here to drop some knowledge bombs on sedation, scalability, and the secrets they won't teach you in CE. I'm Jess, and with me, as always, are Dr. Gray and our main man behind the soundboard, Archie.
Hey guys, ready for another round? As we like to say, you didn't go to dental school to be average. So let's amp up that dental mojo.
Ha! My dental mojo is fully charged, Doc. Let's do this.
Today, we've got a packed show. We'll cover how AI can help sell big cases, a coding mistake that might be costing you thousands, a spicy debate on DSOs, a reality check on those shiny DSO offers, and a little funeral for our old complacent selves after implementing EOS. Oh, and sedation. How knocking your patients out, nicely, can boost your case.
Did she say funeral? This I gotta hear. Haha. It's an action-packed hour, so let's jump in. Segment A, AI accelerators, treatment planning assistance, AI that sells cases.
First up, Segment A, AI accelerators. Dr. Gray, you've been teasing this new AI tool that's supposed to help with treatment planning and case acceptance. Spill the details.
Absolutely. So imagine an AI that can analyze your patient's x-rays, photos, medical history, all that data, and then spit out comprehensive treatment options with visual simulations of the results. Sounds like sci-fi, right?
I, for one, welcome our robot overlords if they help do my paperwork. But seriously, how does this thing work? Are we talking some kind of Dentobot 3000?
Ha, close. The platform I've been playing with is called DentAssist.ai. Here's how it works. I upload a patient's panoramic and intraoral photos plus their health history. Within about a minute, the AI identifies all the areas of concern on the images. Cavities, old crowns, missing teeth, you name it. And then recommends treatment options prioritized by urgency.
And it gives you pictures too, right? Like simulations.
Yes, it actually generates photorealistic smile simulations showing the potential outcomes. For example, if a patient has a bunch of worn down front teeth, it can mock up an image of what their smile could look like after veneers or crowns. It's like a digital crystal ball for their mouth.
That sounds impressive and a little scary. Does it also tell them, I'll be back, in an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice if they refuse treatment? Ha ha ha.
Right. Say yes to the crowns if you want to live. Jokes aside, how are you using this in practice?
So we've started using it for bigger treatment plans. The assistant, AI assistant, processes the info. And then our treatment coordinator sits down with the patient to present the findings. The cool part is the patient can see what we're talking about, not just hear a bunch of dental jargon. We had a patient on the fence about an implant versus a bridge. And when she saw the simulation of her smile with an implant crown, she literally said, "Oh wow, that looks better than I imagined. Let's do it."
No way. So it's actually closing cases for you?
It's definitely boosting our case acceptance. Early adopters are reporting something like a 50% increase in case acceptance rate on big cases and higher average treatment plan values. One doc I know, Dr. M, said his average case went from around $3,200 to $5,800 after he started using AI-generated treatment plans.
That's a huge jump. Patients see those fancy simulations and go, "Take my money, doc."
Pretty much. It makes the abstract real for them. But here's a key point. The AI is assistive, not autonomous. We always review the recommendations. It might suggest something crazy or something we know isn't right for the patient. You still need a human dentist brain in the loop.
Good, so I won't wake up tomorrow to find an AI did a full mouth rehab overnight in Op 3.
Not yet, Archie. Not yet. Give it another year.
The bottom line is, tools like DentAssist.ai can be awesome accelerators for treatment planning. They don't replace our expertise, but they can analyze images blazingly fast, generate slick visuals, and even produce a nice printout of the treatment plan with all the options for the patient to take home. It's like having a little digital treatment planner working 24/7.
So cool. And listeners, if you're interested, we'll drop a link in the show notes to a sample AI-generated treatment plan and info on this tool. Definitely one of those not taught in dental school innovations to keep an eye on.
AI that sells cases? What a time to be alive, huh?
Indeed. All right, Moving on before Archie starts an AI fan club.
Segment B, Billing and Coding Corner, the D7210 mistake.
Next, it's time for Segment B, Billing and Coding Corner. Today's topic, the D7210 mistake, or as I like to call it, how to leave a bunch of money on the table by using the wrong code.
Scenario: you flap the tissue, you section the tooth, you elevate, maybe even remove some bone. Basically perform a mini surgical marvel, and then you bill D7140 simple extraction. Womp womp. You just got paid for a Honda level extraction after doing a Ferrari level job.
Exactly. This is the D7210 mistake. So many dentists do a surgical extraction, but bill it as if it were simple. You're leaving legitimate reimbursement on the table.
So the fix is, use the correct code, D7210, for surgical extractions.
You got it. D7210 is the code for an extraction that involves surgical access, meaning you had to reflect a flap and/or remove bone. By coding it correctly, you can earn, on average, about $75 to $150 more per tooth than the D7140 simple extraction code.
$100 extra per tooth, give or take. If you do, say, 100 impacted teeth a year, that's like $10,000.
Right. This is not small change. It can easily be tens of thousands over a year in missed revenue, just because of undercoding.
But I'm guessing there's a catch, like documentation?
Correct. You can't just slap D7210 on every extraction. You need to document in your notes what you did. Raise the flap, remove bone, section tooth, etc. Big dental energy, volume 002.pdf. That way, if insurance reviews the claim, it's crystal clear. It was a surgical extraction. If you document properly, using D7210 is 100% legit.
It's crazy how many of us were never taught this nuance. I know plenty of dentists who do heroic extractions and then basically shortchange themselves.
I was one of them early on. I'd be sweaty and proud of my work, but I wasn't coding it right. So here's your coding PSA. Use the right codes for the work you perform. Don't be shy about D7210. Just back it up in the chart.
This might be the first time I've ever been excited about coding. Ha! But seriously, easy money, folks, don't mess it up.
And that's your billing and coding corner for today. Turning your hard work into proper reimbursement. On to the next.
Segment C, chairside debates. Invisible DSOs versus indie groups.
Now for Segment C, chairside debates. Today's debate, invisible DSOs versus indie groups. Dr. Gray, set the stage for us on this one.
All right, so we all know what DSOs, dental service organizations, are. Corporate groups that own or manage dental practices. But there's something called an invisible DSO. That's when a DSO owns a bunch of practices, but keeps it on the down low. The clinics might keep their original names. The same branding, patients, and even staff might not realize a corporate entity is pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Basically, Dr. Silent Equity versus Dr. Indie Hustle, right?
Exactly. Let's personify this. On one side, we have Dr. Silent Equity, our invisible DSO guy who owns, say, 80 practices, but nobody knows because everything looks independent. On the other side, Dr. Indie Hustle, who with a few partners openly owns maybe 6 practices, a small group practice, and is totally transparent about it.
Ooh, sounds like a showdown. Archie, you want to play Dr. Silent Equity? I'll be Dr. Indie Hustle. Haha.
We own 80 practices. Nobody knows. Our docs think they run the show. We've kept the same signage, website, and team. But we're quietly extracting 12 to 18% in management fees while standardizing every protocol behind the scenes.
We're 4 partners with 6 practices. Total transparency. Equity at the top, freedom at the op. We grow slower, sure, but we preserve our clinical philosophy and culture. No suits telling us which implant system to use.
Haha, nailed those impressions, you two. So that captures it. Invisible DSO model. Massive scale, centralized systems, big exit potential if they sell to an even larger fish. But their weakness, hidden control, profit extraction through those management fees, and often the docs at the ground level don't have much say. It can dilute the culture because, well, the dentists think they're independent, but they're not truly calling the shots.
Right. It's like the worst of both worlds. You feel like an owner-operator, but someone's skimming off the top and dictating protocols quietly.
Now, the indie group model. Strengths are owner-level control and preserved philosophy. These docs are actually in charge of their destiny, and they're transparent about how things are run. Culture tends to remain authentic and intact. The trade-off? Slower growth, more hands-on management headaches, and they might struggle with capital for expansion.
So one's got money and efficiency, but might secretly suck your soul. The other's got freedom and soul, but might struggle to pay for new chairs or an expander down the road.
Pretty much, and let's be clear, invisible DSOs aren't necessarily evil.
True. There's a spectrum. Some invisible DSOs operate fairly and just stay low-key to keep the brand local. Others, well, they can treat docs like cogs. On the flip side, indie groups aren't all sunshine and rainbows. Partnerships can blow up, or they stagnate due to lack of resources.
It really comes down to what you value as a dentist, right? Rapid EBITDA growth and a big potential payday? Or autonomy and culture?
Exactly. Know what you're signing up for. If you're selling to a DSO, know what you're giving up. If you're joining a group, know who really controls the decisions. No right or wrong answer, but definitely something they don't cover in dental school business class, if you even had one.
If I had a nickel for every class on how to preserve clinical culture under private equity ownership in dental school, I'd have 0 nickels.
Ahem. And that's why we have this podcast. All right, great debate, team. Now that we've set the stage on DSOs, I think it's time to really pull back the curtain on those big DSO offers we keep hearing about.
Segment D, DSO, deciphering, the shiny offer trap.
Buckle up for Segment D, DSO, deciphering. This is where we debunk the myth that DSOs are just raining cash on practices out of the goodness of their hearts. Dr. Gray, time to spill some reality.
Oh, I've been waiting for this one. So, you know how the chatter goes. Did you hear Dr. Smith got like $2 million for his practice from Super Mega Dental Corp? They're overpaying like crazy. There's this myth that DSOs will overpay for practices, that they've got more money than sense.
Yeah, like the lotto for dentists. Congratulations, you've won a golden parachute, courtesy of Big DSO.
Right. Spoiler alert, DSOs aren't charities and they're not stupid. In fact, 27 of the top 30 DSOs are owned by private equity firms. Modern Healthcare covers PSP report on how private equity, and these are slick financial operators. Private equity does not make a habit of overpaying for anything. They make a habit of turning investments into profit.
Exactly. If they drop a seemingly insane offer on your lap, you better believe they've got a plan to get an even greater return out of your practice down the line.
Bingo. Maybe they see ways to cut costs, bulk buy supplies, or centralize services. Maybe they plan to merge your practice into a larger network and flip it to the next investor at a higher multiple. The point is, that big, shiny offer isn't a gift. It's an investment with an expected profit. They're not overpaying. They're strategically paying, and you have to ask why.
It's like when a car dealer offers you top dollar for your trade-in, then charges you more somewhere else. They'll get theirs, one way or another.
So true. And yet some dentists see the dollar signs and stop asking questions.
Which brings us to shiny offer syndrome. That too good to be true number can cloud your judgment. Don't be mesmerized by the commas in the contract. Look at the fine print. Often it's not $2 million cash up front. Enjoy retirement. It might be $1 million now and the rest in equity or earnouts if the practice hits certain targets under our management. Oh, and by the way, you likely have to work for them for 3 to 5 years to get the full payout.
Right. They're basically having you help earn the rest of your payout by continuing to produce dentistry for them.
Exactly. They're often using your own future production to finance that big number. It's like an advance on work you haven't done yet. Not as shiny when you think of it that way.
And what about patients in all this? I mean, patients don't exactly say, I go to Dr. Smith's office because I love the DSO that owns it.
Correct. Patients pay to see you, the doctor, not a DSO logo. Your name, your reputation is what brings them in. If you sell and down the road, leave or slow down, that goodwill can walk right out the door with you. DSOs know this, which is why most deals lock the selling dentist in for a while. They need you as the figurehead, so patients stick around.
And here's a sneaky part. I've heard about these non-disparagement clauses. They stick in the contracts. Essentially, gag orders.
Yep. Non-disparagement clauses are standard in many DSO sale contracts. It means once you sign, you cannot badmouth the DSO or the deal publicly. So all those horror stories of "I sold and regretted it," you don't hear them at conferences or on Facebook groups as much, because legally, those docs can't speak up.
Wow, so the ones who got a raw deal are muzzled, and the ones who are happy are out there singing praises and possibly convincing others?
Funny you mentioned that. Another tactic. DSOs monetize recruitment through dentist referrals. If I sold to Big DSO Inc. and Jess is my buddy, the DSO might say, "Hey Dr. Gray, refer Jess to us, and if we close a deal with her, we'll give you a sweet referral bonus, tens of thousands of dollars." Suddenly, I'm taking Jess out to lunch, telling her how great my experience was, and how she should consider it too.
Meanwhile, you conveniently leave out the part about, say, your production quota, or that you hate the new corporate policies because you want that referral check.
Right. Not every doc will do that, but it happens. So be wary if a colleague is pushing you hard to join their DSO family. They might be financially incentivized to do so. It's like multi-level marketing, dental edition.
Dental Amway. I got my downline of 2 orthodontists and a periodontist. Gonna make bank.
The sad part is, it's kind of true, and DSOs often target dentists who are burned out or plateaued. I mean, if you're exhausted, fed up with the grind, a fat check, and someone taking over the headaches, sounds pretty good, right?
Oh, absolutely. Burnout and complacency make dentists vulnerable to these offers. The DSOs know the psychological playbook. They'll say, "We know running a practice is overwhelming, doc. Why don't you let us handle it, and you just focus on dentistry? Plus, here's a big bag of money for your trouble." If you're at your wit's end, that's extremely tempting.
Which isn't to say selling is always bad, but you have to go in with eyes wide open, not starry-eyed.
Precisely. My advice, get a qualified practice broker or attorney to evaluate any offer. Talk to peers privately who have done it. Look at your life. Are you just tired this year, or truly done with practice ownership? Because maybe a long vacation or hiring an associate could fix burnout, instead of signing away your practice.
And remember, no one is throwing free money at you. There's always a catch or a plan behind it.
Well said. DSOs can have their place, but don't let the shiny object blind you. All right, I think we've successfully decoded the DSO playbook. How's everyone feeling?
I feel oddly paranoid and also empowered.
Mission accomplished. Now, speaking of burnout and complacency, making you vulnerable, Jess, you mentioned a funeral earlier. Should I grab a black suit?
Yes, sir. Everyone, get your tissues ready for our next segment. This one's a bit different.
Segment E, Eulogy of Complacency, Burying Comfort Zones, Week 1 of EOS.
Welcome to Segment E, Eulogy of Complacency. In a dramatic twist, Dr. Gray here is going to deliver a eulogy for his own complacency. Context: we just finished Week 1 of implementing EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, in his oral surgery med spa practice. And let's just say, some old habits did not survive.
I've got a little organ music queued up and everything. This is going to be good.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to pay our respects to our dearly departed complacency.
Sniffle. It had a good run. That complacency.
Complacency was a close companion of mine for many years. It kept things comfortable, perhaps too comfortable. But as we implemented EOS this week, we had to bid farewell to a few of complacency's favorite things. We say goodbye to unclear roles and overlapping jobs. In the old days, complacency let us fudge who was truly accountable for what. Multiple people doing the same task, some tasks falling through the cracks, everyone assuming someone else will handle it. This week, we built an accountability chart, and oh boy, that ruffled some feathers. Titles were stripped away, overlaps untangled. It was painful, but now everyone knows their lane. So rest in peace, I thought she was doing it. You will be missed? Not really?
Amen.
We laid to rest resistance to change. Yes, it reared its head early in our EOS meeting. Longtime team members crossed their arms, gave that look that said, "Here we go, another management fad." But as the week went on, we confronted that resistance head on. Structured meetings, clear agendas, people actually speaking up. Resistance to change stood no chance. We drove a stake through its heart with each honest conversation, and each followed through task. Farewell, old friend. You tried to keep us in our comfort zone, but we're breaking out.
Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
We commemorate the passing of our beloved sacred cows, those untouchable practices we've done forever, without question. In our first EOS meeting, we identified them and, well, we turned them into burgers. Our scheduling template that made no sense, but we've always done it this way, gone. The unwritten rule that our senior assistant runs the show even when it causes confusion, done. We challenged everything in the name of improvement. Sacred cows, you were revered for so long, but it was time for you to go to pasture.
I'm picturing Chick-fil-A cows now.
Lastly, we bid adieu to aimless meetings. Oh, how Complacency loved our weekly meetings that had no agenda, no structure, and accomplished nothing beyond consuming coffee and an hour of life. This week, we ran our first true Level 10 meeting with EOS. Timed agenda, real issue solving, accountability for tasks. It was actually productive. Aimless meetings, you will not be missed. We hope you find purpose in the afterlife.
Such a beautiful service.
Goodbye, complacency. Hello, efficiency. I'm not crying. You're crying.
All right. Enough with the theatrics. But seriously, guys, week 1 of EOS implementation was huge for us. It was not easy. There was definitely tension as we clarified roles and called out issues.
What would you say was the toughest part?
Honestly, the title dynamics and ego stuff. For example, we had to clarify roles between our oral surgery practice manager and the med spa manager. There was overlap and a bit of a turf war going on, kind of unknowingly. When we made an accountability chart, it was clear some responsibilities were stepping on each other's toes. We had to have a real talk that it's not about titles or who's boss. It's about each leader owning specific outcomes. That was uncomfortable at first. One of them was like, so, am I still the manager or what? We had to explain, yes, but for these specific functions. And for other functions, you're not. Someone else is accountable. It was a blow to the ego. But by the end of the week, they actually felt relieved because now they knew exactly what was expected of them and what wasn't on their plate.
That makes sense. Clear role clarity instead of overlapping and silently resenting each other.
Exactly. Another challenge was just general resistance to change. One of my senior staff basically said on day 1, we've done fine all these years, why rock the boat? And I had to gently point out that yes, we're doing okay, but we've been plateaued and frankly, a bit chaotic behind the scenes. EOS is about tightening the ship. After a few days, even she admitted the more structured approach felt better.
So it sounds like initial pushback, then buy-in once they saw some results?
Precisely. By the end of the week, we had our first real quarterly rocks defined, our 90-day priorities. Everyone knows what they're responsible for this quarter. We had a follow-up meeting with an actual agenda that we zoomed through in 45 minutes, hitting all the key points and solving 2 departmental issues that had been lingering for months. The team was like, whoa, we actually accomplished stuff, and ended early. I was like, yes, folks, structure can be our friend.
It's amazing what a little framework will do.
I'm honestly pumped. I mean, we're only 1 week in. There's a lot of work ahead. But we've got real alignment now. The leadership team is on the same page, and problems aren't being swept under the rug. We're calling out issues, even sacred cows, and addressing them. That's a night and day difference from before, when we either ignored problems or danced around them to avoid hurt feelings.
I love it. It's like a breath of fresh air in the practice, even if it started as a bit of a cold shower.
So the eulogy was fitting. You put complacency in the ground, and now you're reborn as efficient gray.
Something like that. Look, bottom line for our listeners, if your practice is feeling stuck or chaotic, don't be afraid to shake things up and implement a system like EOS. It will hurt before it helps. I guarantee that. But on the other side of that discomfort is a team that actually works together and a business that can grow without everyone losing their minds.
And hold a little eulogy for your bad habits if you need to. Whatever it takes to move on. That was fun. Okay, before we close, we have one more juicy topic to sink our teeth into. And this one involves actually putting patients to sleep.
Wait, that sounds bad. You mean sedation, right? Please tell me you mean sedation.
Yes, sedation. Let's do it.
Segment F. Full arch files, the Sedation Squeeze play.
Last but not least, Segment F. Full arch files. Today's focus, the Sedation Squeeze play, or how strategic IV sedation can help you close more big cases, those full arch implant cases, all on X, and other high-ticket treatments. Dr. Gray, this sounds like one of those secret sauces they definitely didn't teach us in CE.
It is. and it's one of my favorite tactics. Here's the deal. Patients are often nervous about big procedures. We have an ace up our sleeve if we offer IV sedation or even general anesthesia for these treatments. If you position it right, sedation can be the thing that pushes a patient from "I'll think about it" to "let's do this."
I mean, who wouldn't want to take a nice nap and wake up with a brand new smile? That sounds like a spa day, not surgery.
Exactly, Archie. When I consult with a patient for an all-on-4 or big implant case, I always bring up sedation early. My line is something like, "We can do this treatment under IV sedation, so you'll be completely comfortable, basically asleep, and you'll wake up with your new smile already in place." In fact, I have a sedation day available next Thursday if you'd like to reserve it.
That is smooth. You're painting a picture of them sleeping through the hard part and even giving them a specific opportunity next Thursday. Builds urgency.
Yep, that little script packs a punch. Let's break down why. First, it creates urgency. I mention a specific day and imply it's a limited slot. Second, it gives relief. I'm removing their biggest fear, the pain of being awake, by saying you won't be awake for this. And third, it adds a bit of exclusivity. Not every office offers IV sedation, so it positions us as a premium place.
Urgency, relief, exclusivity, the psychology trifecta. It's like a limited time luxury offer. Act now, get peace of mind, and join the VIP club.
Exactly. And patients respond to it. You can often see their shoulders drop when they hear they can be sedated. The fear factor goes way down.
So tactically, how does a practice implement the sedation squeeze play?
Number 1, schedule dedicated sedation days. For example, 1 or 2 days a month that are set aside just for sedation cases. This creates that genuine scarcity. You really only have, say, 2 slots this month where you can do these big cases under sedation. So they do need to claim a spot.
And it also helps you logistically to batch those cases on certain days, I bet.
Absolutely. It's efficient. Number 2, train your treatment coordinator or whoever does your consults to lead with the sedation benefit. They should highlight, "Doctor, Gray can do this. While you're comfortably asleep, you won't feel a thing." Make it a selling point.
You're basically turning fear into a selling feature. That's genius.
That's the idea. Number 3, we kind of touched on, create a sense of limited availability. Like I said, mention that only a couple of these sedation appointments are available each month. Even if a patient isn't ready to commit that second, it plants the seed that someone is going to take that spot if they don't.
Nobody wants to miss out, especially on something that will make their life easier.
Exactly. And lastly, follow up quickly. For any big case consult, we follow up within 24 hours. The next morning, my office will call or text, "Hey, just checking if you have any questions. By the way, that sedation slot next Thursday is still open. Shall we pencil you in?" Keep it friendly and helpful, but reinforce that urgency.
You guys even dangle a little incentive, right? The sedation incentive I heard you mention before.
Yes, the bonus move. Sometimes we offer a time-sensitive sedation credit, like $500 off if they reserve their spot within 72 hours. We call it a sedation day reservation credit. It's basically a prompt for quick action. We make it clear it's because those OR setups are costly, etc., so we reward folks for committing early. Psychologically, it pushes the patient off the fence without feeling like we're discounting the actual value of the treatment.
I love that. It's not $500 off implants, which might cheapen it. It's framed as a credit towards the sedation anesthesia fee if you book now.
You got it. We don't want to sound like a used car sale on a life-changing procedure, but a little incentive for quick decision-making, that will do.
And it works?
Oh, it works. We've closed plenty of full arch cases by using that combo of sedation promise plus limited slot plus quick decision credit. Patients have literally told me, "I was on the fence, but when you said I could be asleep and that there was an opening next week, I figured, why wait?" That's when you schedule them, get that deposit, and boom, case accepted.
Fantastic. That's pure psychology and customer service applied to dentistry. They don't teach that in your typical CE course about implant.
They sure don't. It's one of those practice management gems you pick up along the way or from communities like this. And now all our listeners have it in their arsenal.
I'm never getting another tooth pulled without IV sedation. I'll tell you that much. Laughs. I'll be like, "Doc, knock me out. I heard on Big Dental Energy that's the only way to go."
Careful, Archie. You might need someone to drive you home.
Minor details, Jess. Minor details.
All right, folks, that wraps up our Full Arch Files segment on sedation. So good.
We covered a lot today. Let's do a quick recap before we finish up. We talked about AI tools like DentAssist that are boosting case acceptance with slick visuals. We reminded you to use that D7210 code when you earn it. Don't give insurance a freebie. We debated the pros and cons of hidden DSO ownership versus doing your own indie thing. Then we decoded those crazy DSO offers so you won't fall into the shiny trap. We held a tongue-in-cheek funeral for complacency and saw how EOS can kickstart real improvement. REP2, we've always done it that way. And finally, we showed how offering IV sedation can be a game changer in getting patients to yes on big treatment plans.
If that doesn't get your dental energy up, I don't know what will.
And we did it all with a straight face. Well, mostly.
Before we sign off, a quick note. We have a couple of cool extras we didn't get to dive deep into. Check out the show notes or our website for a link to a monthly referral drip system we mentioned. Basically, a step-by-step on how to never let your referrals forget you in a non-annoying way. There's also our tech and tools tip on tracking referrals with Airtable and automation, and a little something for you surgeons on advanced flap design, our Down to Flap segment, that we put in the newsletter. Tons of goodies there if you want to nerd out further.
Absolutely. We want you to have all the resources to take your practice to the next level. As always, feel free to send in questions or topics you want us to cover. Who knows, it might end up on our next Chairside Consult segment or inspire a whole new discussion. Email, DM, smoke signals, we're watching it all.
If you enjoyed today's show, please subscribe and leave us a review. 5 stars only. If you're thinking 4, just send us an email with some constructive criticism instead. Winks.
We truly appreciate the support. Big Dental Energy is all about building a community of dentists who break the mold and refuse to be average.
Couldn't have said it better. Thank you for listening. And remember, you didn't go to dental school to be average. Stay energized, stay sharp, and we'll catch you next time on Big Dental Energy.
Cheers to that.
Big Dental Energy, Episode 2, Sedation, Scalability, and Secrets.